Quickshape is quite similar in operation to Quickcurve. You launch it with the shortcut Shift F this time. And then once you've got it open, again, Ctrl D to open the Quickshape pie menu. The UI, as you can see, is very similar. You've got this same Shift Q shortcut to toggle brush profiles. Again, Shift G to toggle whether it draws shapes towards or away from you, or neutral around the 3D cursor. The same W alignment shortcuts along the bottom, or similar. You can hover over a surface again, tap W, and once again, you'll draw aligned to that surface. You get that little grid UI which represents your work plane. As I mentioned in the Quickcurve video, initially it's best to start off in orthographic view so you can get used to how it places objects in the scene. The big difference is that instead of drawing one-dimensional lines, which then form a bunch of pipes, say, or boards, as in Quickcurve, you're now drawing two-dimensional shapes, which are then extruded to give them a thickness. Quickshape launches with Lasso as the default brush type, and I think it's this Lasso tool which is where QuickTools really starts to break down the barrier between 2D and 3D. We all know how to use pencil and paper. With Quickshape, your little shapes that you might draw in a sketchbook are instantly turned into 3D objects. As you can see, it's much quicker to build out big forms this way, and Quickshape is designed as a painting tool for quickly blocking out forms, as opposed to Quickcurve, which is more like a sketching or drawing tool. It might be your first draft of an idea, but of course you're in 3D, so immediately you can then jump in Quickshape and fill it all out. We can change the thickness or depth of our objects using, again, the standard Blender brush size shortcut. That's the F key. Make it bigger or smaller. I can draw that again and change thickness this time. You can see the difference between those two shapes. Now, let's make another Speederbike, like in the previous example in Quickcurves. We can also layer up shapes. If we want to add some depth or some detail, we can again just use this first click Alt-W position shortcut. Maybe an even more useful setting is, remember that Alt-W toggles between first click align and first click position. So if I do to align, then I know my shapes will be aligned parallel with the surface that I'm drawing on. Another really handy shortcut is Alt-F to change the thickness of a shape I've already made. Select it, tap Alt-F, and then just move your mouse to change the thickness. We can also try out different brush profiles, just like in Quickcurves. Let's add a few boxes here, for example, and some cylinders too. I could just toggle between the type of brush shape with Shift Q. What's fantastic is that you can carve away at your work too, make a shape and then cut a shape out of it. Just hold the Control key and now Quickshape will work as an eraser. Or you can hold Shift and then you can slice your objects up. You can also create just little thin parting lines. So Control D to open the pie menu. Set this here width value to be greater than 0. It's the same as this value down here in the UI on the lower left. Or I can tap the shortcut Control G and then move the mouse to control how thick my blade is, as it were. I'll make it quite a tiny value, and now our cutter has a thickness to it. And when I hold Ctrl to erase, instead of taking the whole chunk out like I did before, now we're just left with this narrow slot that's been removed. In all these examples, I've been cutting right through the model, and we can switch this setting off again in the Ctrl-D pie menu, cut through, or we can use the shortcut C at the bottom left of the UI. Now the cutter reverts back to using this depth value. Remember, we can change the depth of our shapes with the F shortcut. Okay, so now that cut through has been switched off, it's respecting the radius of the brush, and it's not cutting straight through the model, only cutting as deep as you've got your brush set to. So again, we're only covering the basics here, but with just this handful of settings, really, you can smash out ideas with amazing speed. But the next video is where the fun really starts. We can take the blocky models we've been making in Quickcurve and Quickshape and change them into something much smoother, something malleable, almost like plasticine. And we can then, as I say, smoosh it around just the way we want. And that tool is called Quick Deform.